you all very much for sticking around. Please welcome to the stage the team behind the Ballad of Lefty Brown. Welcome up here, please, Director Jared Moshé, Mr. Bill Pullman, Mr. Joe Anderson, Josef, Tommy Flanangan, and Mr. Peter Fonda.
Tommy's got to take the middle.
Tommy in the middle? All right. Tommy in the middle.
Yeah, where is
it? This one right? All right.
Yeah. He's late.
We rehearsed this extensively. Oh!
Are you kidding me?
Lead cowboy.
Yeah. I best sit out on this.
Yeah. That just happened. I just saved Peter Fonda's life. Thank you guys so much for coming. That was amazing. So, Jared, can I go here? Sure. Oh, wait, sorry. I knew we were missing one.
Sorry.
Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. This is really fun. So, Jared, for those of you who don't know, you've produced a lot of films, and this is not your first film by a long shot. But this is the first film you chose to direct yourself.
Second film I chose.
Okay, well, so I'm sorry.
That's okay. Not many people saw the first one.
So what was it about this material, though, that drew you to it, that made you want to take the reins of this one?
Well, I've been, I've had the character of Lefty with me for years and years and years, ever since I've watched the old John Wayne Westerns. And I'd see this character, and he'd be played by Gabby Hayes or Walter Brennan, and John Wayne would always kind of be joking at him, everyone would be laughing at him, he'd be kind of a joke, a comedic sidekick. Yet, he'd also be someone who the hero relied upon. In Rio Bravo, Walter Brennan is in the jail, the last line of defense, in case everything goes wrong. And I was really interested in that character and that dichotomy. So I started writing the script, sort of trying to find the human being behind that archetype.
Okay, I see. And so,
Okay.
It turned out it was Bill Pullman.
Good choice. So let's talk a bit about the casting of the film. I mean, it kind of sounds ridiculous to be sitting up here with this incredible, amazing cast. How did you get so lucky to have this cast? And maybe we can talk to the actors a little bit about what it was that attracted you to these characters, made you want to work on this project.
I have no idea how I got so lucky to have this cast.
Massive paychecks, remember? Those huge paychecks you all got.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I know why you got this cast. You wrote a hell of a script.
Yeah, true. Very true.
It's a great story, and you gotta start with that. Then come the actors and the camera. Very true.
Putting together this cast was so much fun, though. We had Bill first. He was attached to the project, a year before we started shooting. We got him the script. I mean, he's kind of my dream for this role. And we got him the script. And I was very nervous. And then his agent liked it and sent it to him. That's always the first most important part. The agent has to like it. And then he liked it. And then we met for a really awkward lunch at one of these cafes where you kind of sit down and you think you're going to order, except you don't. You have to go up and wait in line and look at the menu. And so we're trying to have this I don't know who you are. We're testing each other out. And
I thought he didn't look like a cowboy. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Jared, we saw this movie in Texas together. It's not the same fucking movie I saw. I love the one in Texas, but good job, buddy. It's fucking tremendous. Good on you, son. He's the most unlikely director you'll ever meet. And your life. You walk on set and he's like, this is my script. I'm directing. Do your shit. Okay. Tremendous. love this guy. And I'm solo.
So, Mr. Pullman, then, okay, so you guys are together for a year before the film starts shooting. Did you guys do like rehearsal together, or talking about the character, or?
Yeah, we just, we went through, everything. When we first sat down together, we had some meeting, and then before we started shooting, we went and sat down and went line for line through it all, But it was really something to watch it here tonight. I agree with Tommy. It looks really good up there.
I said the same movie we saw.
And I think, everybody in your lifetime as an actor, there's certain times where you get cast. If it's a World War II movie, you get a part of a group of guys in a foxhole, and there's just an experience that you go through while you're making the movie, and it becomes one of those touchstones in your lives. And I think, doing this Western in Montana, and that was close to where we have a ranch and stuff. But with this group of actors, populating it, I feel like that this is my foxhole right here. This is like, and Kathy and Jim, who couldn't be here tonight, also. Really great privilege.
Jim's actually walking from, he called me, seriously, he texted me a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I think he's walking through Spain via France. It's like a 5,000-mile pilgrimage thing he's on. So, and it takes like 2 months to do it. He's like, do I want to come join me? Oh no. No.
So what's that like? You guys are all in Montana together. How long are you guys there for?
Well, we shot for 20 days,
Uh-huh.
but we were all in state for about 2 months, 2.5 months.
Are you guys like shooting during the day? Do you guys all get together at night and hang out?
No, we were like going to sleep.
You're on set 24/7. He's talking about.
It sounds like you're having fun. I don't know.
No, you're just on set constantly. There's no kind of downtime.
No,
It's just not
we
like
were, it was long days. We'd be there from sunrise until way after sunset. We did not have a lot of time to make this movie, and so we were, I think our last day was 22 hours. Maybe.
Is that right, Bill?
Is it possibly more than 24? 26
It wasn't more than 24. It was just a crazy day with a lightning storm that shut us down, and lots of just misfortune that led to actually that final confrontation between Bill and Jim was shot at like 3 a.m.
No, you get rid of the last night you guys wrapped at 6. I wrapped about 2, 3. You guys wrapped about 6 the last night of shooting. And Bill had promised me he would take me on this cattle drive at his property in Montana. So I think, okay, we'd be shooting all night. We'd do like almost 22 hours constantly for a week or 2. So I think, there's no way this is going to happen. No freaking way it's going to happen. So he drops me off at one of these it's a property, a little house on his property. So I'm lying in bed with my wife, and no, he's not coming back. He's not coming back. Are you fucking kidding me? I slid all the way down the stairs, these wooden stairs. I got to the door, and then Bill's like, "Come on, let's go." Saddles were the horses, not saddles were horses. The horses were saddled, and off we went into the hills, and we did a little roundup, and it was freaking tremendous. I mean, that's how you end up Western. It was so great. In the rain, it was cold. I was in my size-looking clothes on. Great.
It sounds like you guys had fun.
Yeah.
So going back for a second. So, Mr. Pullman, tell me a little bit about what it was about this character that drew you to want to work on this project.
Well, we were in the middle of taking this thing around this film festival, and I had remembered something that I had forgotten, which was about 20 minutes from my hometown in western New York State was the birthplace of Gabby Hayes. I don't know if it's in the water or what, but I thought he was born in 1885, and we just looked it up on Google, and he didn't die when I was born, but he died in 69.
But he quit acting around when you were born.
He quit acting, he was done, yeah. He gave the man somehow his reincarnation. But I think, for me, it was a chance to deal with authenticity of character, you know, and I think we spent a lot of time in rural areas, and I'm intrigued by what America is in those pockets, and mass culture, popular culture is homogenizing so much of our life, and you know, and then I think I was a little nervous to do the part because I thought there was something iconographic about it, and I didn't know if I could hit the mark, and I didn't know if we would hit the right group of people, you know. It's like you've got to have a deep bench to pull off this game, you know. Everybody's got to have a level of investment, and nobody can do kind of just twangy accents and call it quits, you know. And we were so fortunate to have that group here.
What do you guys think? Can you pull it off? Speaking of deep bench, that's very true of this film. It's one of the things I love about this film. Maybe we can talk to the other actors about what it was that drew you to this characters. We'll sort of go down, Mr. Flanangan, if you're not too shy, then maybe see
Bashful. What drew me? You know, I was dying to do a Western, and my wonderful manager and agent said, they sent me the script, and I read it. It's just the beautiful simplicity of it, and it's told such an amazing tale, and it was in this. It was in Montana. I said, fuck it, Montana! It was all about location. It's just wonderful, man. It was a great experience. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And now I've seen it properly. It's great.
No, don't. I just, again, as an Englishman, wanted to be in a Western all my life. Sitting on my father's lap on a Sunday morning, you know, watching spaghetti westerns, and to don a wig, which is nice for a blonde receding hairline, which is always wonderful. But again, to play somebody that is actually the antithesis of how rounded the character of Lefty is. Lefty's a very fallible human being and a very sort of flawed person, but has much courage and much heart. And to play, in a sense, and not speaking of Jared's writing or any of that, but to play somebody that is in their mind two-dimensional and very sort of yin-yang about life. It's either you have or you don't. It was nice not to actually have to be honest, take the weight of anything, and to be able to just play a really sort of kind of interesting bad guy or whatever, and provide for what the crux of the film is, which is, you know, a sort of salvation and revolution within oneself through attrition, in a sense. It just, whatever. I'll shut the fuck up. No, I'm kidding. Over to you, sausage.
Look at this kid. Come on.
Growing up a bit.
No, what drew me to the role was the fact that it was a Western at first, and I've always gone to like gun shows when I was younger, and I saw like The Quick and the Dead with Leo, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do that when he's like spinning the gun with Russell Crowe. That was really cool. So yeah, I got the audition, and I was like, awesome. Bill Pullman, Peter Fonda. I didn't know Tommy was a part of the cast at first, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta do this. And I went to the thrift store, picked up some cowboy stuff, because I live in like a horse area, whatever it's called. Yeah, horse town.
Where do you live? I think it's force area.
No, horse. No, horse town.
Horse
Yeah, I just got the outfit, went in for the role, brought like a old Western book, and
Okay.
I ended up getting it, so yeah.
You were a great kid, you know well.
Thanks, Tom. You too. No, just the fact that I was able to collaborate with all these wonderful actors was just an amazing experience.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Fonda?
Well, I got the best job of all. For 13 pages, it's like I'm Mr. Big.
Yeah.
And after that, everybody talks about it. How can you beat that? Beautiful words. This is why I like it, because of your script and your words and the descriptives. Your narrative descriptives were perfect, because I've lived in Montana for quite some time.
Thank you. The way I like to write is it kind of, I take the script and I don't necessarily know where I'm going to shoot, and then once I do a scout, I do kind of a location rewrite where I try to really capture the land and the world on my words. And it's cool that you say that, because I did that for Montana. At first, it was just esoteric West.
And I love that construction with your character too, Mr. Fonda. It's sort of like the third man sort of thing, with this character who looms large in the background of everyone's lives and their minds.
But there's an interesting thing as filmmakers where you get a low budget movie. We don't have $120 million to make something, but yet to watch a craftsman who has studied, and the gang, the rest of the people that can't be here, the rest of the gang that make something work on minimal budget and utilizing locations, to see it for the first time and to know as an actor where things are, and to watch how they've used it and utilized it is truly the filmmaker's lesson here, and so I commend that.
So,
One of the nice things is in Montana, you run into these houses and sheds and broken down stuff all over the place.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's a really great thing to be able to use them effectively in the film, not just have them as a setting in the background.
that comes across so strongly, how much the environment is influencing the vibe and the story and everything. It's wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about influences. Like, were there other sort of films or filmmakers that you're thinking of when you're writing this film, when you're putting it together? Were there sort of touchstones you wanted to...
You don't want to do Val Kilmer.
What does that mean?
That's just whatever.
Val Kilmer in Tombstone is so quintessential, and everyone wants to say
Oh, yes, of course.
Huckleberry.
I thought there was like some Val Kilmer news episode or something. I'm sorry. Okay, so
Western humor.
Yeah. So were there other films you're thinking of when you're writing this, or things you want to consciously stay away from, or what was your sort of like...
I mean, I really rooted it in writing it. I was basically thinking about all the John Wayne films, all the John Ford, John Wayne collaborations, the Howard Hawks, Red River, Rio Bravo. There are tons of little Easter eggs throughout for Western fans that people can pick up on, references to old John Wayne movies. Or
Give us just one.
I'm
sorry, I have to.
All right. Well, his character's name, Tom Hara. Hara is the last name of the drunk sheriff in El Dorado, which is the Howard Hawks' first remake of his own movie, Rio Bravo. There's 2 remakes.
I knew that. Thanks. We have to organise it.
You didn't need to know.
It's good to know that, though.
So yeah, just John Ford, obviously.
John Ford, I was really inspired. Also, this is weird because it's not violent in a Peckinpah way, but how Peckinpah really tried to shoot action sequences from the perspective almost of the people. He used slow motion speed up to get in the heads of the people experiencing it. And I knew I didn't want to go overly violent, but I and my director of photography, Dave McFarland, who's not here tonight, talked about how we could shoot that, sort of do the same thing. And we did it by using...
There you go, DP!
Using a lot of sort of steady cam, being with the characters and trying to be sort of emotionally intimate and shoot the violence from their point of view. So we're not necessarily in a God's eye, knowing what's happening. If they don't know what's happening, we really don't know what's happening.
That's interesting, and that's an interesting choice to sort of not have this sort of hyper violence that I think a lot of contemporary filmmakers kind of gravitate towards. What's the thinking behind that choice? Is that to sort of ground it in more realism, or?
Violence is shocking and brutal, and it should be shocking and brutal and fast. It shouldn't be this glorified hyper-violence.
Right.
If someone gets shot, it's a violent, awful thing, and it should feel like a sudden, violent, awful thing.
You pulled it off. I think you pulled it off. I think you really pulled it off.
I've always felt myself about violence in film that expected violence is accepted violence, and unexpected violence has to be dealt with. And that's one of the things I saw about the beginning of this show. It was unexpected, and then people had to deal with it over and over again. That's a very good thing to do.
Yeah, we very so.
We wanted to keep it like
As
that.
a young, as a young person, no offense, anyone. But you and I, there's this thing of coming into the world, watching glamorized movies, especially from a shitty, pardon my language, rainy country, where coming to Hollywood is a pipe dream, and if you can do it, it's something kind of out of the realms. But with the violence, as I get older, it's quite evident from watching things on TV that it happens in 90% of the planet every day in a way that for some reason we are not subject to. And we're kind of nulled from it. We're not shown it, we're not whatever. And whenever I hear this argument about gratuitous violence in movies, I have this idea where I'm like, have you been to Uganda? Have you been to whatever is going on? I mean, and bought an AK-47 off the street? So when a story has so much heart, as Jared has laid into it, it's almost a non-point for me, because it's as much as part of life, more than the humanity and the soul that he has laid into the piece. And that's where the heart of the movie is, and that's why it works, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so as well. So going back a second for talking about the sort of, not inspiration, sort of touchstones that you were thinking about when putting the film together. Mr. Pullman, are you and the director sort of talking about, like, I mean, of course you're obviously very familiar with the works of John Ford and that sort of thing. Is that something that you're thinking about, sort of some of those films when you're putting this character together, or are you trying to kind of step away from those sort of classical representations?
I don't think we really, Jared didn't really stress, I think I borrowed Rio Bravo and,
A couple of peck and pause, I
Peck and
think.
Pause, but I didn't get to the Peck and Pause, and I didn't get to Rio Bravo, and I said, enough of that. And, no, I really think the great collaboration that we had, and Jared's a pretty secure guy, I think all of that background, I can turn to him at any point and have an interesting discussion about it, and know that we're attending to things through his eyes, but I didn't need to get involved with it. And we were more interested, we changed that anyway.
Yeah.
That whole process of trying to discover the character.